Hello. Yeah, yeah, kind of doing a reaction video now. So, to kind of like apologize for kind of like cutting the last stream short, so I am going to be reacting to a a non-stock video of Pokemon Scarlet, since sadly I did have to cut short because for some reason on my end, because I didn't know until like kind of after the video processed that the last stream was still recording. So I decided to go, you know what, as an apology, I'm going to live stream this reaction.
Type has some of the
So let's go.
Pokemon in the entire franchise. So,
oh right, and this video is by Keegan J. So let's get
I
right
wanted
back
to
into
test if it was possible to beat Pokemon Scarlet using only fighting type Pokemon.
Okay.
With a stack of extra rules on top to make this challenge
There
quite harder,
is.
could we become Paldean champions? Well, let's
Wait,
find
match team
To start,
sizes.
I need
Okay.
a small fighting type trainer that oozes with Sigma energy. Mr. Fister. Just look at these bulging muscles. Good morning, Mr. Fister. Your breakfast is ready. Wait, who are you? And where am I? That stupid holy pony Arceus was meant to send me home. I swear I'll get my revenge on that cow. Alright, Mr. Fister, which starter Pokemon would you like? Well, the green one only fights off DeviantArt, and the red one's too chunky to fist anything. So I'll take the duck. And if it fails, at least I'll get some good protein. With our new duck secured, now our journey can begin. Paldea has an amazing variety.
Alright, I think I watched this like a while ago. But it has been a while, I guess. It has been a while.
Awesome fighting type Pokemon, so let me know in the comments which of them is your favorite. And if it's Crabominable, please seek help
Yeah, you guys already know what my favorite one is.
immediately. Right now, Mr. Fister has a problem. See, Flaxley doesn't actually become a flamboyant fighting type until much later on, so we needed to hunt for a real fighting type partner. But Arceus must have been smiling upon us as we were about to get insanely lucky, because Arbor just gives us Koraidon's Pokeball. Not only do we have our first fighting type, it's also one of the most powerful Pokemon in the game. Except we can't even use Koraidon in battle. Not even once.
Yeah, sadly. Like throughout the whole game.
I hate you, Arceus. So our hunt continued until just before Mesagosa, we find a Pawmi, Paldea's Pikachu imposter. It's a cute electric brat, but only gets a fighting type when it evolves. Great. Okay, surely our next encounter will be one that we can actually start using. A male Ralts? Are you kidding me? Look, all my homies love Gallade. I just want an actual fighting type without Baron Brawler options.
Yeah, I am genuinely impressed you don't get fighting types until like maybe after like what, the first, second at most?
Before Mesagosa, Nemona forces us into a battle, and since we don't have any usable Pokemon, Mr. Fister quickly becomes Mr. Fisty, as Nemona mercilessly gives us the electric chair. Hey, that's assault! I'll have you arrested! By who? There's no police force in this region, idiot. Just you wait until I get some fighting Fisters on my team. And
Wait, is it true that they don't have a police force? Because if that is true, then yeah, that's probably not going to be a good thing.
After we're given our 3 quests to conquer Paldea, now we can explore Paldea and finally find our first brawler, Makuhita. He's a little less punchy and a bit more doughy, but I'll take whatever I can get. So
yeah, it's best to take whatever you can get.
on the team. Next up, we also find a Mankey. Ash Ketchum's ape is one of my favorite characters in the anime, and while Primeape is an okay Pokemon, I can't wait for our ape to escape this life and reach its final form. After also
it's surprisingly pretty freaking good.
As well as a literally useless Metatype, it was time to make our way towards the first gym of Cortondo. The gym challenge requires us to roll an olive, but Mr. Fister is such a chat that he only needs 1 punch to crush the course. This pleases us.
I like the One Punch Man reference.
Gym leader, and this one could be tricky. Fun fact, Bug and fighting are the only two types in Pokemon that actually resist each other. Which
Surprisingly.
doesn't really make much sense, since our fists could easily pound some puny bugs. On top of that, Katie has 3 Pokemon, meaning our duo of a chubby punching bag and a fuzzy monkey are outmatched. Except Mr. Fister had a plan, and that plan involves a new team member, as there's one more encounter that we can get at this point in the game. Flamigo. Yep, somehow this derpy pink bird is actually a fighting type.
Not sure
It
why.
gets better because our new amigo is also a flying type, and this is bad news for any Katie fans out there, because it only takes a
I like that
second
meme.
attack
I like that
one
meme a
shot
lot.
of her
I like that
Pokemon
meme a
and
lot.
Tarantula. While her Teddiursa does last a little longer, we double kick that cute cub into the grave, giving us a easy win.
That was a good one last time. Like, I mean, I think Flamingo actually does have some pretty good stats for the early in the game.
Flamigo absolutely crushed that battle, and I have
Level
no
18?
worries
Dude, why
going
jump
into
up
the
to
next
level
fight
18?
against the Crab King himself. While Vice Grips from the Crustacean do massive damage, so do Force Palms from our chubby Archimeda. This makes it very clean for us to smash the Rocky Crab into oblivion. We did it!
So, yeah.
Mister. Awesome! And now for the best part, licking Clorp's rocky remains. What? No, that's so weird. So weird, but so delicious. Despite the slow start, we had some momentum from the last.
At least you get some protein from it.
Slowed down as we made our way to Artisan Town. The local gym leader, Brassius.
Yeah, this is once again another neutral matchup.
Deja vu, as our pink flying type prize fighter could smell blood on the battlefield. Flamigo crushes the first victim in one.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough.
Knows exactly what's coming next. Last is Brassius.
In fact, I am impressed that they just solos the first 2 gyms. Like,
But how could this thing expect to box with Flamigo when its hands are literally just balls? With a wing attack, we flower Brassius.
yeah, Wabi. Mewtwo.
Easy badge and another body in Flamigo's kill count. Mr. Fister and his mercenaries were crushing the challenge so far. However, here is where the good times start to break. Because next in line is the Flying Titan Bombardier.
Yeah, but it's also a dark type.
Fighting's biggest weaknesses, but we have to try and beat this oversized goose. So, after Mr. Fister furiously licked every boulder on the mountain, we were ready to
What?
and got utterly destroyed. Our third brawler had been dominant so far, but all it took was 2 hits to pluck Flamigo raw. At least we have our monkey. At least we had our monkey.
Yep.
Flamigo fell soon after, and it was total devastation from
The first loss of the run.
side of Paldea.
But luckily, this is a Nuzlocke.
Take it on without fainting immediately. So what can we do? Well, with our new level cap, we can reintroduce one of our bench warmers back onto the roster. By training up Pawmi to level 18, it evolves into Pawmo, the Pokemon where Game Freak dared to ask, what if we made Pawmi, but long? But Mr. Fister wasn't done yet. By sprinting up and down the hills of Paldea,
Yeah, those are kind of weird. Those are kind of weird.
Once more into its final stage, Pawmo, the Pokemon where Game Freak dared to ask, what if we made Pawmi, but long and hairy? Not only from these.
Yeah. I think that's exactly what they were thinking.
It's insane, but our new electric fighting typing is an incredible combo for covering our
Oh,
fighting
shit.
type weakness. We were
dropped my arrow.
heading back up the mountain for round 2, and this time things would be different. A wing attack still does huge damage before we hit Bombardier with the Uwu Nuzzle. Not only does this do decent chip damage, but it also paralyzes.
Sweet.
This allows us to outspeed and hit an arm thrust while
Plus, that's also kind of like my least favorite. Favorite. That's Sask edition. Overall.
Bombardier stays fully paralyzed, although our arm thrust only...
Because I could never get paralysis off.
But it's done its job, as this clears us to bring out our own bird, with Flamigo finishing the job. It was a bit of a struggle, but with that, we had finally conquered the second Titan. Regardless, it shows that our frail fighting types are gonna have some struggles in this challenge. My Mabastiff isn't eating much anymore. You should try having it lick some delicious rocks. What is it with you and rocks, you weirdo? The next challenge for Mr.
Yeah, that's strange. That is strange.
Nightmare. But Mr. Fister is an expert in demolishing dark types. I see you took care of the guards. Yep, they didn't stand a chance against my giant fists. This paved the way for Team Star to bring out their big bad boss. Giacomo opens with a Pawniard,
Yeah.
and is immediately sent to the Shadow Realm by...
Yeah, he doesn't last long here. He doesn't last long here.
With a metal sound, Paul clutches up with a 5-shot arm thrust doing big damage. To reset the stat drop, we switch into Mankey, who takes a Swift before countering with a huge low kick.
Ooh.
From our Monkey puts Riverboom on the brink of death, allowing our chubby Makuhita to bounce on in, with one last force palm putting the brakes on Riverboom. That gives us a dominant win against one of the hardest early game fights. With 2 more wins under our belt, Mr. Fister was feeling...
They got one of the biggest threats out of the way.
Extra inch of muscle on our swole protagonist. The next stop is the electric city of Levincia. Wow, these targeted ads are really getting crazy. Now there's an ad that's actually good. Our sponsor, Honkai Impact Third, the incredible free-to-play RPG.
Okay, I'm probably going to skip over this. Because again, I'm not sponsored.
Back in Misagoza, this time it
Heard-
was personal.
Heard
Good
I'm
news
not
was
sponsored,
the
actually.
poor puppy is kicked into the Shadow Realm by our deadly pink bird. Next is the real threat, Pormy, but we double kick it to the grave in just one shot. Last is Pneumonius Crocodile, but this Pokemon is dangerous. A Terra Boost and Incinerate does huge damage, while our
Yikes!
barely tickles the croc. Flamigo soon goes down, so we go with that
Oh,
Puppy
shit.
Makuhita, and its chubbiness isn't just for show, since its thick bat ability helps it to tank Incinerates. We trade blows, but it's still not enough, as our chubby champ also goes down. Next is Polmot, and Arm Thrust continues to chip away at Crocodile's health, but an Incinerate almost knocks out our rodent.
Oh, God.
We hit more than twice with Arm Thrust.
Oof.
Don't get the kill. So, of course, we only hit twice, and this demonic croc brings its kill count to 3. We were down to our final Pokemon. Thankfully for us, last is our resident Monkey, and one last low kick is enough to finally topple the fiery menace.
Oh, that could have been a lot more disastrous.
Demona almost wiped us out. Anyway, this
Yep.
clears us to face Iono, and she could be a real problem. Her Chunky Frog and Ace Miss Magius are fully evolved. So, if we want to stand any chance, our team...
Yeah, they're stone evolutions.
And that will involve yet another team member coming in off the bench. Because at level 20, Rot's can evolve into Curlier, who still isn't a fighting type, but after traveling all the way through the desert, we're able to pick up this Dawnstone. And this is...
Yeah, it's just super tedious, like, getting through that.
important.
It's just super tedious getting through it.
From becoming Waifu Bait and instead evolves it into the awesome psychic fighter, Gallade. The best and only Pokemon with that type combination. On top of that, our chubby Makuhita can now also evolve into the beefy chat Pokemon Hariyama. With these upgrades, now it was time to take on Iono. Oh, wait, hang on a second.
Adios.
That was fun. Hope this doesn't come as too much of a surprise, but you're being broadcast to the world right now. Oh my god. Mum, are you out there? It's me, Mr. Fister. I hope Mr. Fister Sr. and Pappy Grand Fister are well. I will find you. Anyway, with our trio of brawlers and...
What is the story behind this character he made? Is my question.
It was time to take on the Stream Queen, Iono. She leads with a derpy flying type, so I go with Polmot, and a single spark can fry that turbo chicken in one shot. This then brings out Bellibolt, who would be a problem if not for the fact that Polmot learns Dig. This does big damage to the
Ooh.
frog, letting us take it down with a second Dig. After Luxio's Intimidate nerfs our attack, I switch into Hariyama. Spark does moderate damage, but I know I can survive another. So I take a turn to boost my stats with Bulk Up, meaning that a single Force Palm finishes Luxio.
Yeah, after that, you're just...
Queen's only Miss Magius, and this thing is a nightmare. It's fast, strong, has no weaknesses, and can be a total troll with confusion.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah, this...
But Hariyama clutches up with a
Yeah, she's probably one of the few early game bosses that has actually into a few runs.
over half. And then I had
Sweet.
an idea. Step 1, switch into our monkey and send it to the slaughter. Hopefully that won't anger it too much. But after it's taken out, we can switch back into Hariyama, and a fake out nearly cleans up the fight. So, with the assist from Beaumont, one more fake out can outspeed and crush the electric ghost, giving us badge
yes.
3. This run started rough, but now we've got some really strong fighting types at our disposal. Time to celebrate with a delicious sandwich. Gotta make sure we've got our protein though. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, and boom! Perfect.
Protein.
It's the most delicious sandwich you've ever laid eyes on.
Not really.
Tasty Mr. Fister original for sure. Wait, are you that kid who declared war on Team Star? No, I'm not just that kid. Call me Mr. Fister, and you're gonna learn how I got that name. I see you took care of the Team Star grunt. Yep. He won't be walking for the next few years. This clears us to take on our next target, Mela's fire types. At this point,
Dude, what was it with this guy?
we don't really have an answer for fire types, but
In fact, probably. Hey, what?
Alright, Paisley, it's your time to shine. Go forth and take out Mela. Okay, looks like I'll need a new plan. Despite only having 2 Pokemon, Mela is no pushover, so we needed to bring our A-game. While Gallade can outlast Torkoal comfortably, Mela's Starmobile is the real threat here, as Blazing Torque can decimate both our Gallade as well as Pawmot. Thankfully, we still have our Angry Monkey, at least until Mankey was hit by Blazing Torque.
Oh.
What an idiot, how embarrassing. While Flamigo can finally bring
Oh my god. Wow.
only our chunky champion, Hariyama. It was looking grim, but it's here where our boy clutches up. If we want any chance of winning, we need an even bulkier board. So I bulk up to increase both our attack and defense. We're then hit by Torque and thankfully dodge the 30%.
Wait a minute, when does Hariyama evolve?
Now it's time for Hariyama's counterattack. A third Blazing Torque still doesn't get the burn. Thank you, Lord Helix, for a supercharged Force Palm can finally take out Mela's Starmobile, clutching up on the car for a huge win. Our Hariyama went absolutely insane there. 1 like equals 1 meaty sandwich for our tanky Titan. After that victory, we can head straight to the next gym.
I really love to like. Okay.
Until Kofu sees Mr. Fista's threatening physique and nopes right out of there. While tracking him down, along the way, we can find some new team members. First of all, we find a herd of Tauros ready to stampede at any moment. And while Pallia Tauros is a perfectly capable fighter in its own right, it's this one that I want, because this Tauros is a Blazeform Tauros, giving it a
Yeah, that is like one of the rarest Pokemon.
Fire typing. This Pokemon is incredibly fast and strong, making it a great addition to our collection of brawlers. On top of that, our little monkey finally snapped, evolving into an enraged Primate. It's good, but I want to see it even angrier. Eventually,
how original with the naming scheme there.
Suspicious-looking substance at the black market. Sorry, Kofu, Mr. Fista is off the gas. He got this physique squeaky clean, thank you very much. Before taking on the roided Unibrow, there was one more team member to collect. In the nearby province, we're able to catch ourselves a Shroomish. In its current form, asking it to
that's probably one of the weaker ones.
At its current level, it can immediately evolve into the fungus fighter, Breloom. And our new mushroom would be teaming up with Pawmot to end Kofu's whole career. His loser is immediately victimized by Wild Charge, a 90 base power electric move that annihilates.
I love the joke there. I like the joke there.
Oblivion, leaving Kofu with just his goofy Crabonable. A third Wild Charge does huge damage, but just misses out on the KO as Pawmot falls to its very own recoil damage. Kofu then hypes up an epic move, but there's nothing on the field, Kofu. Also, why are your eyes red? From here, Breloom can quickly finish off Kofu's Crab, meaning we're halfway through the gym challenge. Wow, Mr. Fista, your Breloom is really cool. Do you mind if I, borrow him for a couple of hours? You stay the hell away from my magic mushroom. That fight was pretty straightforward, but our next one is a much tougher prospect, as we have to take on Atticus and Team Star.
Yeah, that is a really gimmicky type. I think that's going to be a bit difficult for a fighting team.
But you know that Mr. Fista has a plan, and this one involves yet another new team member. Because after slapping our little Riolu with a soapy sponge, this upped its friendship enough to evolve into Lucario, one of my favorite fighting
my boy.
Types and an absolute beast with its steel typing, which, importantly for this fight, makes Lucario immune to poison, meaning things were about to get evil, because Atticus' Skuntank can only hit me with Sucker Punch. So, after setting up
yeah, I don't know why not let that thing have Flamethrower.
Substitute, we can safely spam the move Workup, boosting our offense.
Why not have it have Flamethrower to get around the...
And just watch us cook. With Lucario boosted and jacked up, all it takes is a single Aura Sphere to wipe out Skuntank, as well as the Revavroom that follows. After a Metal Claw finishes Muck, Atticus was down to only the Starmobile. Metal Claw only does a third, before Revavroom breaks our substitute with Flame Charge. Changing plans, I switch around our Pokemon, gradually chipping away at Revavroom as our fighters gradually fall. Our team was crumbling, but fortunately, our hero Hariyama does it again. After comfortably surviving a flame charge...
Yeah, in fact, Horiyama is probably like one of the tankiest fighting types you're ever going to get.
Wrestler, and 0 points to the Funky Engines. With Atticus defeated, our momentum was rolling, and things were about to get even crazier. Because with the new level cap, we can take our baby duck and evolve it all the way into its final form, Quaquaval, a flamboyant fighter with an awesome water fighting type combination. But Mr. Fister wasn't done yet, because now Primeape knows the move Rage Fist.
Sweet.
By using this move 20 times, Primeape literally dies from frustration, evolving into the ghoulish monstrosity known as Annihilate. Easily one of my favorite Paldean Pokemon. Ghost Fighting is such a cool type combo, giving our team a rainbow of different secondary typings. And our upgraded team absolutely feast, because the
and not only that, but a bunch of decently good Pokemon.
Larry, who uses the puny and pathetic normal types. I mean, look at this matchup. This should be an absolute breeze for Mr. Vista.
Sadly, no.
Well, things started very clean, with a cross chop from Annihilate, splitting the Koala into 4 for an easy knockout. But next is the Dunsparce, and this is where the trouble began. My plan was to switch into Gallade and use Charm to nerf the Dunsparce.
Yeah, that is like one of the more annoying mons ever.
What I didn't account for was being paralyzed by Glare. This puts a huge hole in my plans, as it means that Gallade can only land 1 charm before going down. With my plan failing miserably, I go into Quaquaval and try to set up a workup. However, the Dunsparce lands another Glare, and here is where RNGesus was about to go wild. Because, no joke, I was fully paralyzed for 3 turns in a row, with a crit from the Dunsparce being the...
Again, my least favorite Stask edition.
Final spit in the face, Quaquaval also went down. After a cross chop from Annihilate does solid damage, of course, the Demonic Slug paralyzes my 3rd Pokemon. While we can finally take it out with assurance, we were in a horrible spot as Larry still has Staraptor, who is a big problem since it knows Aerialist.
Oh, okay, so yeah. Definitely going to be a problem. Definitely going to be... So yeah, Staraptor and the Dunsparce are like going to be a problem. Like, you go in, like, again, and the Kamala, which should be realistically easy to take down. But also, you have the Dunsparce, which is probably going to paralyze your team. But again, it's like my least favorite Stask edition ever. Because, yeah, you're going to not be good.
All I can do is click cross chop and hope. As expected, Staraptor goes for Aerial Ace, and Annihilate survives on just 11 HP. We're not...
In fact,
turn, and this clutch gives us...
like, I don't think you... Okay, I don't think you could still get stat for a move if you shed that type.
No, please! We were meant to destroy this gym. But instead, Larry gets the win with a 2nd Aerial Ace. How embarrassing. Mr. Fister will never be able to show his face in Medali again. While things had been going smoothly in this challenge for a while, Mr. Fister had gotten cocky, and the enemy teams weren't letting up. So I needed bigger muscles, but on top of that, also a bigger brain. Round 2. This time, I'd given Annihilate a little cherry berry snack, and this would make all the difference. Once again, Kamala goes down to a cross chop easily. Another one on the following turn doesn't kill the incoming Dunsparce, but thankfully it uses Glare.
Yeah. I think that's why you get a whole lot of them, too.
Instantly heal off with our berry. This means that 1 assurance on the next turn crushes the Dunsparce, stopping the slug from any further RNG hacks. Last is Staraptor, and while an Aerial Ace does take half our HP, this time, 1 cross chop slapped...
Ooh, that was a lot better roll.
Giving us some much needed revenge on Larry. That was a tough one, but now we've got our 5th badge. I'm just glad that Larry is done, and we never have to face him ever again. After our vicious ape absolutely annihilated the
Ah,
muscle,
yes.
we were ready to move on. We have some really powerful fights coming up, so Mr. Fister needs to put on a black belt level performance from here on out. The first of these fights is up in the mountains of Montenegro. Ryan and her ghost types are a tough matchup for our fighting types, since our punchers literally can't touch her ghosts. So I needed a good plan, and after a while, I settled on bringing these punching Ghostbusters to try and tackle Ryan.
Yeah, that's gonna be really hard to deal with.
The challenge involves us livening up the crowd, but I think I'm good. Hariyama, kill. Starting the double battle
Wow.
clean. Our Gallade and Hariyama take some damage, but a Night Slash immediately decimates the net, followed by a knockoff from Hariyama that breaks Mimikyu's disguise. But now things get tricky, because a quick Shadow Sneak finishes off our Gallade, and the dead doggy Houndstone uses Shadow Force, causing our Hariyama to fire nothing but flanks. Not ideal, but now it's big brain time. By setting up a substitute with Lucario, we eat the hit from Phantom Force before setting up a bulk up on Hariyama.
Well,
We were in a good spot until...
at least she did go for Hariyama.
From Houndstone leaves our Super Sumo on only 1 HP. A knockoff just falls short of finishing Houndstone as Lucario sets up another substitute. The crowd goes wild for Mr. Fister, cheering and screaming as they should, giving our Pokemon a speed boost. Although Hariyama quickly dies to a Shadow Sneak on the next turn as Lucario sets up a Swords Dance before having its substitute broken by Houndstone. We were in a tough spot as now it's a 2v3. We sent in our final Pokemon Annihilate and we were about to turn the turntables on Ryan. As a boosted Metal Claw from Lucario decimates Mimikyu, followed by a Shadow Punch from our Ghosty Kong, which does the same to Houndstone. Now it was a 2v1, and surely things would be smooth from here, right? Well, Toxtricity went full hacker mode, hitting the 9% chance of paralyzing both of my Pokemon with Discharge.
Again, yikes. Yikes.
Thankfully, Annihilate is an angry Chad, pushing through Paralysis to land one final Rage Fist, finishing Toxtricity and giving us an incredibly dicey 6th gym badge. That was not easy, but our quartet of Fisters did well. You know what? Let's celebrate with another sandwich. Mr. Fister needs lots of protein, so I think 6 eggs is enough.
Oh my god.
Isn't that the most delicious meal you've ever seen?
Again, no.
We pushed onwards to the 4th Titan, Great Tusk. And I gotta say, Mr. Fister is a big fan of Great Tusk. So much so that when Arvin interrupted our battle, I made sure to show my loyalty by taking out Arvin's Scoville. After subduing the giant...
Again, yikes. But then again, that take him out before anything probably would make it a little bit more challenging. But then again, he does literally nothing.
Fister with Breloom's Trippy Poison, we found the next Herba Mystica. Oh man, my Mabastiff doesn't seem to be getting much better. Hang on, Arvin. Let me try feeding it one of my sandwiches. That might perk him up. See? He looks much better now. Stay away from me and my dog. Arvin might not want anything to do with us, but we 100% want everything to do with Great Tusk. Because after defeating the Titan, you can find one in the desert. And since it's a fighting type, we can quickly catch it and add the Tusky Fighter to our roster. The Mr. Fister Dojo was looking incredibly powerful, but we have some insanely tough fights still on the horizon. Next in line should be the Psychic-type gym leader, Chula. But instead, Mr. Fister has a trade offer for you. I take on the Ice-type gym under-leveled, and you like the video right now. Look, I don't make up the rules, that's just how it is. So, after nailing every single turn on the ski slalom, we stepped up under-leveled to take on the Snowboard King, Grusha. And it wasn't even close. Mr. Fister can crush ice cubes like they're nothing. By using a little substitute cheese, our Lucario is able to boost its stats like crazy with Carmine. It does get close, but from here, our supercharged Lucario could absolutely...
Like, that's gotta be embarrassing. And fun fact about Grusha, he actually did make me white out during my first playthrough of Pokemon Scarlet. So what happened is that I completely did not know he had Earthquake on his Beartic, and he just ended up taking out my Skeletor. I think Skeletor's like slower than Beartic.
Pathetic ice types with an onslaught of Aura Spheres. Quick and clean. That's our penultimate
There we go.
But While that one was easy, the final gym battle is much worse, since Tulip uses big brain psychic types that have an enormous advantage over our fighters. Ugh. A Medicham? What an awful Pokemon. Who'd ever want something like that? I can hear your muscles screaming. Oh, no, that's not them. That's just Annihilate. Now it was time to...
Yeah, I think that would be he's screaming a lot more.
I expected this to be the hardest gym yet. Her team is packed with powerful Pokemon, so we need a cheesy plan to overcome her. I must say, you're a cute challenger, Mr. Fister. Please be my new mum. Fortunately for us... only knows physical moves, so by leading with Gallade and using Charm, we can nerf her attacks while safely setting up Sword Stance. One of these lets us pick up a quick KO onto both Regidrap as well as the Gardevoir that follows. Although sadly, Asfaltra outspeeds us, connecting a huge Shadow Ball, and Gallade just hangs on.
Oh, that was clutch. That was probably clutch.
Crushing the oversized chicken before one more on the following turn is all it takes to execute Flawless. It was a terrible matchup, but we just obliterated Tulip thanks to Gallade, proving once and for all
surprisingly
who the real best Kirlia evolution is. That earns us the final gym badge, and now we have some insane fights on the horizon against Team Star. The first of which is Ortega, who uses fairies, one of the fighting type's biggest counters. Not only that, but Ortega has a stacked foursome of tanky, strong, and scary fairies that can bury our team into the mud. That being said, Mr. Fister still...
And it was so surprising that I actually did manage to sweep his team in the Ghost type run.
Has a few fighting encounters left to help us out. The first of these is Kroger, one of the slickest and coolest fighting types in all of Pokemon. Just look at how relaxed this guy is. What a king. We can then quickly evolve it into its final form, Toxicroak, and this poisonous fighter is going to be a massive help against fairies.
Yep. I think it also learns Toxic Spikes too, to kind of deal with this
Next up, we can find
passive
one of
damage.
my favorite fighting types, Hawlucha. This luchador is basically just a Giga Chad version of Flamigo with high attack and super speed. And lastly, I have to take
92, yeah, but probably good.
Give me the Heracross or I'll start fisting. No, leave me alone. Fine. Alright, you'll have to do. With the Herculean bug now on our team, our roster had filled out nicely. This will be the
In fact, I might as well have to look up what Heracross is based off of.
Either beat the game
after this.
or crumble helplessly. Could Mr. Vista do it? Well, let's find out. Talk about disappointing. I was hoping for someone a little more beefed up. Look at me, Ortega. The only thing beefier than me is a pure-blooded Tauros. Ortega is going to be a challenge, but we have a well-rounded team to take him on. Azumarill hits us for big damage with Bounce, but a Sludge Bomb on the next turn takes out Peekaboo. Ortega retaliates with Dash Bun, who quickly gets the revenge kill onto Toxicroak with a Play Rough. With the score even, I pivot into a new plan, taking advantage of this puppy's low attack, nerfing it into the ground with charms from Gallade before going into Lucario.
Yeah, this is gonna be intense.
Safely set up a substitute, followed by Sword Stance to charge Lucario up to maximum attack. Meteor Mash takes out the delicious-looking dog, followed by a Wigglytuff.
But anyway, does he actually have coverage for or Steel types? I don't know. I hardly ever go into that battle with a Steel type.
And if you want to see something super satisfying, the Starmobile also falls in one single hit, crushing Ortega and his fairies into the mud.
That's a rare sight.
And it involves some
An Oko on Starmobile.
Tatsugiri and Dondozo. Thankfully, Hercules the Heracross made an enormous debut here, whipping the giant whale and its little sushi sidekick.
Yeah, I wonder if they were actually watching Demon Slayer at the time, too. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Wrong anime. Like, I know it's probably, like, not the best.
You know what, Mr. Fister? For all your kind help, I made you something special. Wow, thanks so much, Arvin. I'll treasure it forever. Mr. Fister was cruising, crushing every obstacle in his path. But this next one's personal, because this was a battle between Mr. Fister and Paldea's fighting aficionado, who has a powerful team of brawlers. This was the showdown to determine the biggest Fister in the world. After a sword dance on the first first turn to boost our attack, we can simply spam acrobatics.
Yeah, I wonder why she never actually used a.
Literally every single Pokemon that Eri has. While Rivermoon does survive a hit, a swift second shot.
Hey, Lucha either. Like she's a wrestler, and Lucha is like Lucha is literally right in the name.
With that, Mr. Fister had defeated all of the Team Star bosses, as well as establishing himself as Paldea's next top Fister.
Oh, another advertisement. This should take long. The Nintendo Switch 2. Yeah, I haven't reacted to anything concerning the Nintendo Switch 2. Ooh. Like, I'm so... Okay, there's...
We beat Eri so badly that she cried afterwards. Talk about dominant. That cleans up all 18 badges in Paldea, and now it was time for the end game, where the
Let's go.
in Paldea were waiting. But first, a little warm-up. Oh, Mabstiff, I'm so glad that you're well again. My beloved Mabstiff, what have you done? Thanks for the warm-up, Arvin. But Mr. Fister's reign of terror...
I mean, honestly... coming.
Yet. Yes, it's me. I'm the real boss of Team Star. You're shocked, aren't you? Penny, I was sent back to the past, met God, who I beat up, then got sent to this awful place. Nothing can shock me anymore. Great Tusk, rinse this loser with an earthquake. With Arvin and Penny defeated, now it was time for the main event. Mr. Fister now had to get through a gauntlet of the hardest trainers in all of Paldea. Alright, Mr. Fister, now tell me, which gym did you struggle with the most? Probably the Medali gym. Wait, isn't that Larry? You struggled with Larry? Shut up, it was a total fluke. Thank God we don't have to face that guy again.
Foreshadowing.
Four is Rika and her ground types. She leads with a Goop Whiscash, who sets up a future side, but all I can see in its future is death. As our Heracross sets up a Swords Dance on turn 1, before unloading a whole mag of bullet seeds onto the fish, taking it out in just 2 shots. Camerupt is next, and this guy is bad news for Heracross, so I switch into Quaquaval. Despite being crippled by a yawn and future side, our Quaquaval hits a hot Aqua Step all over Camerupt, crushing the camel into
Ios.
Next is Great Tusk's grandchild, who quickly cooks our duck. But this paves the way for Heracross to return, and it's here that our buggy brawler goes huge. A Swords Dance doubles our attack before Donphan misses a Stone Edge. This gives us a tiny window as Heracross can continue powering up before mowing down the rest of Rika's team with a string of powerful bullet seeds. Easy as. Wait, you're the next Elite Four member? Am I going to get arrested for punching on with a kid? While Poppy Steel types can be trouble, but Mr. Fister, this is just another day in the office.
Well, yeah, that's like one of the most confusing things ever, because, well, yeah, she's like, what, like 5 to 9 years old? I think it's like lower, or in terms of things like that, but again, seriously.
An earthquake from our Great Tusk takes out Copper-Raja, Aura Sphere cleans up Corviknight, Blaze Tauros squashes Bronzong and Magnezone, and the Queen of Bonk Tinkaton follows soon after. That one was an absolute bloodbath. Wait, no, hang on. 3,000 years later. Anyway, after being released on parole, it was time for our next opponent. Oh God, no, not Larry, anyone but Larry. Don't buy that tired front. Behind the eyes of Larry is a cold, dead killer. And he's back with a new team of flying types. Now he has the upper hand, and Mr. Fister would have to go into full big brain mode to defeat this demigod. Larry's Tropius lead likes to set up the sun, so I send out our Giga Chad Howlucha.
Yeah, that's one of the stranger ones.
Tropius under harsh sunlight. This gives us a free turn to use.
How about you want Bay was procrastinating a bit? How about you guys want Bay was procrastinating a little bit?
That's as far as Howlucha goes, as a close combat on the Staraptor just doesn't get the kill before our wrestler is decimated by Brave Bird. Although Staraptor does die to its own recoil. What an idiot. Next we bring up Tauros.
Ty.
Brings in Oricorio. An air slash falls short of taking out our raging bull before a sun-boosted flare blitz destroys that bird. Sadly, we do die to our own recoil. Couldn't be helped. It was such a good play. Against Altaria, an ice spinner from Quaquaval wipes that cloud duck right out of the Beyblade arena. This leaves Larry with the most heinous strategy possible, stealing a fighting type from me. On top of that, Flamigo is so fast, quickly taking out Quaquaval, and we were in a rough spot. This terrestrialized pink chicken is so tough. Right now, we need a miracle. Enter Great Tusk. Tusk is just tanky enough to survive a terror-boosted hit on 14 HP.
Okay, yeah, that was close.
Lets us hit a rapid spin, boosting our speed. So, on the next turn, we can hit a knockoff that just barely misses out on the kill. Great Tusk helplessly falls to a close combat before Heracross is utterly annihilated by a Brave Bird. On the plus side, Larry's fighting Flamigo dies to its own recoil, meaning that we win by virtue of still having a Lucario. Wow, I truly feel like a winner. By finally getting our revenge on Larry, we'd overcome the toughest Elite Four matchup for Mr. Fister. While Hassel the Dragon Tamer still remained, fortunately, he isn't too tough when you sprinkle in a little bit of cheese. On Noivern, Quaquaval gets hit by an air slash, but avoids a flinch to...
Yeah. Probably one of the more cheesier strategies here.
Raising our speed by one stage and letting us outspeed on the next turn, with an Ice Spinner getting the KO. Dragalge does take a hit and takes out Quaquaval, but Annihilate gets the KO with Stomping Tantrum. This brings in Flapple, who is the key to our plan. Gallade can lower its attack with Charm twice, then go into Lucario and use our familiar substitute strategy. By pairing this with Bulk Up, we eventually maximize both our attack and defense. And from here, it was an absolute slaughter.
And there's a lot of
Mario
cheese.
becoming a Dragon Tamer, taking out the rest of the mythical beasts like it was nothing. We had successfully fisted our way through the entire Elite Four, and now it was time to tackle Geeta and see if Mr. Fister could become the fighting champion of Paldea. Alright, Geeta, this should be a piece of cake. I wouldn't be so sure, Mr. Fister. Didn't you lose to Larry? Ugh, how does everyone know about that? Geeta leads with a Spathra, one of her...
Probably heard from Rika.
So, I need to take it out as quickly as I can with Heracross. Annoyingly, Espathra outspeeds and sets up a Reflect, but with our loaded dice, we can guarantee that Pin Missile connects 4 times, removing half its HP. Illumina Crash
Which is sweet.
turn does huge damage, but not enough to stop Heracross from finishing the Psychic Chicken with one more Pin Missile. For some reason, Geeta sends out Go-Goat next, and our Hercules just immediately wipes it off the map with a 5-shot Pin Missile. And Geeta's big brain strats Goat and there, as next she sends out King Gambit, who is basically allergic to fighting types. Thanks to Espathra's Reflect, it does manage to survive a hit, and our goated bud sadly falls. However, this clears the way for Annihilate to come in and sap the rest of the Samurai's life with a Drain Punch. But our wild angry ape wasn't done yet.
Here we go.
Fister can also crush Veluza with Rage Fist, as well as outlast the beat Avalugg by spamming Drain Punch. That leaves Geeta with only her Gamora, who actually becomes less dangerous after terrestrializing into a pure rock type. But it's still deadly, as Dazzling Gleam quickly takes out Annihilate,
And 0 stab moves.
still isn't enough to knock it out, causing our Super Sumo to also fall. Our team was crumbling, but thankfully, Mr. Fister is blessed with a Chad in his life as Howlucha swoops on in, hitting one last flying press for the KO. With that, Mr. Fister and his team of brawlers had become the champions of Paldea. But our quest wasn't done.
At least a champion ranked trainer,
Had to find
basically.
his way home. To do that, first we had to go through 2 huge battles, the first of which is against Nemona. Nemonia embarrassed us at the start of this adventure, so now it was time to set things right by returning the favor. And boy did we! Because our powerful fighters went absolutely massive, laying the smackdown onto Nemona and her pathetic Pokemon. Now you'll never forget the name Mr. Fister. That's every battle taken care of, except one, the most important battle of Mr. Fister's time in Paldea, and one that could change the course of history. So, with the enemies we made along the way, we dove straight into Area 0. Oh god, a great tusk! Stay sharp, Mr. Fister. We can take them out. Hang on, you're not on my team, buddy.
Bye.
Eventually, we reach the bottom of the crater and are attacked by a second Koraidon. Hang on, this one looks like it can actually battle. Let me have this one instead. This is where we learn that the real Professor Sada died long ago, and that this one is an AI who wants to destroy their time machine. Wait, hang on. You can travel through time? We can't destroy that. I need it to finally get home. Wait, no, hang on. You're meant to stop me. Sorry, Sada. I can't let you destroy that time machine. I'll stop you from destroying it right here and now. Seize the machine for myself. This wouldn't be easy, though, since Sada's team is stacked with powerful Pokemon, some of which...
Yeah, I wiped out multiple times against this battle during my first playthrough because I did not pack enough healing items.
Counters to the fighting type. But if Mr. Fister needs to get home, then by God, we need to find a way to win.
Like, I could not, for the life of me, do
Slitherwing, as well as with Howlucha. I expected a Zen Headbutt, so Heracross is holding a Piappa Berry as I go for Swords Dance. However, Slitherwing just goes for a low sweep, which isn't very effective, meaning that on the next turn, we can take the early lead with an Acrobatics.
Sweet.
This Green Tail, and because we're still holding that berry, Acrobatics doesn't even do half. This unfortunately means that our Giga Chad Howlucha gets taken out from a second play run. So I try a new strategy, going into Quaquaval, who now knows the move Feather Dance. This can safely nerf Screamtail's attack into the mud before our duck goes down, evening the score. This lets us bring in Gallade before hitting the monstrous Jigglypuff for some more chip damage with Psycho Cut. With Screamtail at -6 attack, this clears the way for our ever-reliable Lucario. From here, I was expecting to sweep with Lucario's familiar substitute strategy after setting up with Volca. This started well with Meteor Mash crushing Screamtail before a close combat wipes out Brute Bonnet. However, it's here that we run into a problem, because Sandy Shocks outspeeds us and an Earth Power cleanly breaks the substitute before we can crush it with another close combat. This is terrible for us, because this clears the way for Fluttermane to come on in.
Here comes the second fairy type.
That can clean up our team. A Mystical Fire destroys Lucario, and now our final three Pokemon have their backs against the wall. Gallade is low, and Great Tusk has awful special defense, so we have to put our faith in the monkey. Fluttermane charges up a monster Shadow Ball, and we survive.
Sweet.
He holds the line. A Rage Fist on the following turn wipes out the Menace, leaving Sada with just her ace Roaring Moon. Sadly, a single Dragon Claw takes out our Annihilate, but by God, it did a damn good job. But now it was time to shine for our Paradox Beast, Great Tusk. A Dragon Claw doesn't even do half, as we hit a Rapid Spin for the quick speed boost. This lets us
Nice.
And one last
and Ios.
all we need to finally slay that dragon. With that, we had defeated Sada, and Mr. Fister could finally return home. Wait, no, Sada, what are you doing? Oh God, no, the time machine. She's taking it with her. No!
Never found his way home. All he could do now is lick rocks.
Jump into this video next for more.
Okay, guys, I'm going to end the video here. So, you guys like this video, go down, subscribe, ring that bell, I guess, and see you guys next video.